It probably won't dawn on me till I'm about 10 years later when I'm old and watching somebody else play and say, well, I used to could do that, and I could do it better than that. A lot of people say, well, how do you do that? And I don't really think it's anything. It's nothing to me.
Failing is a very common thing in our society. The unique thing is success. There are only a few people who are as successful as he was, only a few people who experienced. So how many people could teach him about it or talk to him about it? Very few.
We interrupt this program for a special report from Channel 4 News.
A local success story took a tragic turn this morning.
County emergency.
I think that I've been really blessed by the Lord. And I just thank him for all the talents that I have. Towards the end of my freshman year in high school, really, I started finding that I could really play, and my coach told me that I could, but I didn't believe. And my father started coming to see me play basketball, and he said, you're really going to be good, so you got to keep working at it.
I saw Len Bias play in high school, and let me tell you, he was quite the talent. Raw, youngster, still growing into his body, but you could tell that the talent, the skills were there. And he had the passion. He played with a tenacity, played with a hunger, with energy that was second to none.
His 11th and 12th grade was the best worker. Always won every sprint, always the first one to get in the weight room and do what he had to do. He just knew that was part of what he had to do if he really wanted to, to play well.
Leonard wasn't really that highly recruited. He liked Maryland. He was right, he was like one of our neighbors. He was over school all the time, watching us practice.
When guys leave to go away to school, they have to get adjusted to a new environment. Say if you go out to the West Coast somewhere or down south, you have to get adjusted to a new environment. I think being home gave me an added sense that I knew where everything was, and I could go home and see my mom and dad at all times, and I always had my fan support.
He was moving up to a major college program at the University of Maryland in one of the premier conferences in the country, in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Knocked away, Atkins following in. Sampson got the rebound and flattened Len Bias with it.
He was serving, if you will, in an apprenticeship stage, learning what the game was all about, getting a feel for what playing at that level was all about. But you could see that he was a good student of the game, and also recognizing that when he got his opportunity, what he was going to be able to do.
Shot won't go. Farmer kept it up in the air. Bias with a rebound.
I got to see him play early in that November, and it was evident. It was like, whoa, this kid is raw. You didn't think he was great. You thought he was raw. And that's back when people had a tag we like to call a late bloomer.
He was good as a freshman. He didn't start as a freshman, but by the end of the year, he was starting.
Lefty Driesell had all his All-Americans on a wall in his office, and he had their photos. And there was a space after the last one. So there was, after Buck Williams a few years had gone by, and there was a question mark in this dark box with no face in it. I wrote a piece saying that Len Bias would probably be the next face that went in there.
Forward, number 34, 6'8" sophomore from Landover, Maryland, Len Bias.
The biggest jump that I saw probably was during his sophomore year. Both of us had made the ACC tournament championship.
He's across the timeline with it. Two-time now, three-time, and he's got Bias.
I think that was his coming out game where he just really took off and got MVP of the tournament.
Can't get anything to go. Lead patch. Adrian Branch, great feed back to Bias.
I'd always seen the potential in him, but now you're starting to see potential turn into reality, that this young man is going to be great.
Bias, what a shooter. 16 points for Bias. He's a 56% lad. Bias, 20 points in this ballgame.
That was the one moment, the shining glory for Len Bias in his college career, was winning the ACC tournament.
Oh, it's very satisfying. We won it for our coach and for ourselves. First, the coach, though. We knew that he hasn't won the ACC championships since 14 years. He hasn't had one yet, so we had to go get it for him and then ourselves.
And you knew after that that Len Bias was in a basketball place that was going to make him different.
You can just see his whole demeanor change. He just, worked extremely hard after that and started lifting weights in the summer with the football guys, started dedicating his body to, becoming a much better player and a pro. And after that, it was history.
Lenny Bias has had such a big ball game. Double clutch, and he made it better. He is
Len Bias, 20 points in this ball game.
23 for Bias. That timeout. 33 for Bias, and Maryland will use its last timeout.
He had the purest jump shot.